The wind moaned through the towering pines of Evergreen Hollow, a mournful symphony echoing through the valley as if the trees themselves were whispering secrets to the wind. Nestled amidst rolling hills and shrouded in perpetual mist, the town seemed to exist outside of time, a place where the past and present intertwined seamlessly. Its inhabitants, faces etched with a timeless weariness, spoke in hushed tones, their words swallowed by the dense, oppressive atmosphere that seemed to hang over the town like a shroud. Few dared to venture beyond the town's borders, their lives interwoven with the secrets that clung to the mist-wreathed streets like cobwebs, binding them to the town's enigmatic past. Evergreen Hollow held its secrets close, guarding them jealously from the outside world, as if the very mist itself was a guardian of the town's mysteries. There was an unspoken agreement among the townsfolk, a shared history etched in the lines around their eyes, and the tremor in their voices when they spoke of the past, a past that seemed to haunt their every step. It was a history steeped in tragedy, in whispers of things unseen and shadows that danced at the edge of perception, always just out of reach yet ever present. And at the heart of it all stood Blackwood Manor, its silhouette a jagged scar against the dying light, a constant reminder of the town's dark and mysterious legacy.
Wow, this place is something else. It's like stepping into another world.
Elena, her eyes wide with a mixture of apprehension and excitement, stood before the imposing gates of Blackwood Manor. She had heard stories about this place, tales of its haunted past and mysterious occurrences. The wrought iron, twisted and gnarled with age, seemed to reach out towards her, beckoning her into the shadows that clung to the house like a shroud. It was as if the gates themselves were alive, whispering secrets of the past. She had purchased the manor on a whim, drawn to its faded grandeur and the promise of a new beginning within its crumbling walls. The allure of its history and the potential for restoration had captivated her. The air grew heavy as she pushed open the creaking gates, the rusty hinges groaning in protest. Each step forward felt like a journey into the unknown, a step closer to uncovering the manor's secrets. A shiver ran down her spine, a prickle of unease that she couldn't shake off. The atmosphere was thick with an almost tangible tension, as if the house itself was aware of her presence. The house loomed above her, its windows like vacant eyes watching her every move. It felt as though the manor was scrutinizing her, judging her worthiness to uncover its mysteries. It was as if the very stones whispered warnings, urging her to turn back before it was too late. The cracks in the walls seemed to form sinister shapes, adding to the eerie ambience. But Elena, her heart pounding with a strange mixture of fear and anticipation, ignored the warnings, her footsteps echoing on the overgrown path as she made her way towards her new home. She was determined to uncover the secrets of Blackwood Manor, no matter what it took.
It's just the house settling, just the wind, nothing more. She repeated these words like a mantra, hoping they would bring her some comfort.
The first few nights at Blackwood Manor were the longest of Elena's life. Each night seemed to stretch on endlessly, filled with an oppressive silence that weighed heavily on her. The silence of the old house was deafening, broken only by the creaking of floorboards beneath her feet and the rustling of unseen things in the walls. Every sound seemed amplified, echoing through the empty halls. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision, fleeting glimpses of movement that vanished as quickly as they appeared. They seemed to mock her, playing tricks on her mind. Sleep, when it came, was filled with unsettling dreams, nightmares that left her waking in a cold sweat, heart pounding in her chest. Whispers brushed against her ears, murmuring her name in the darkness. They were soft, almost gentle, but filled with an eerie familiarity that sent shivers down her spine. Cold spots settled over her, icy fingers tracing patterns on her skin. She could feel the chill seeping into her bones, making her shiver uncontrollably. She told herself it was the house settling, the wind whistling through the cracks in its ancient bones. But the explanations felt hollow, unable to dispel the growing unease. But deep down a seed of doubt had been planted, growing with each passing night. It gnawed at her, making her question everything she thought she knew. The house was alive, she realized, its presence a palpable weight that pressed down on her, suffocating her. It was as if the very walls were closing in, trapping her in its dark embrace. Days turned into weeks, each one marked by a new unsettling discovery. Elena found old photographs tucked away in dusty corners, the faces staring back at her filled with a haunting sadness. She unearthed a child's doll hidden beneath the floorboards, its porcelain face cracked and one eye missing, its gaze unsettlingly empty.
You know, dear, those photos, they tell a story, a very sad one.
The townsfolk, initially wary of the newcomer in their midst, began to open up to her, their stories told in hushed tones, their eyes darting nervously towards the manor looming over the town. They spoke of the previous inhabitants of Blackwood Manor, of families torn apart by tragedy and madness, of lives cut short within its walls. And they spoke of Elena's predecessor, a young woman named Clara, who had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers and unanswered questions. Elena stumbled upon the diary hidden in a secret compartment in the attic, bound in leather and secured with a tarnished silver clasp. It held within its pages the fragmented thoughts and fears of Elena Blackwood, the manor's original mistress.
As I devoured the faded ink, a chilling tale unfolded before my eyes. Elena Blackwood wrote of strange occurrences, of voices calling to her from the shadows, of a presence that haunted her every waking moment.
She wrote of her growing paranoia, her belief that the house itself was conspiring against her, driving her slowly mad. The entries ended abruptly, leaving Elena with a sense of unease that settled deep in the pit of her stomach.
Was this the fate that awaited all who dared to reside within Blackwood Manor's walls?
A fierce storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil brewing within Elena. The wind howled like a banshee, rattling the windows and sending shivers down her spine. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room in brief, blinding bursts, casting grotesque shadows that danced across the walls.
I could feel the presence growing stronger, pressing in on me, suffocating me. It was in the shadows that stretched and twisted with the flickering candlelight, in the whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves.
The house was closing in on her, its grip tightening with each passing moment. The following morning, the storm had passed, leaving behind an eerie silence. The sun, a pale disk in the overcast sky, cast long, distorted shadows across the mist-shrouded town. But Blackwood Manor stood eerily still, its windows dark and lifeless.
Elena was gone. She had vanished without a trace, leaving behind no sign of her presence save for a single glove lying discarded on the doorstep, as if she had stepped out for a moment and simply never returned. The townsfolk, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and grim satisfaction, whispered amongst themselves. Another soul claimed by Blackwood Manor, another name added to the long list of the missing.
Months turned into years, and the memory of Elena faded into the fabric of Evergreen Hollow, becoming just another thread in the intricate tapestry of tragedy that cloaked the town. Blackwood Manor stood empty once more, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world, patiently awaiting its next victim. And then one day, a young couple, their faces filled with the optimism of youth, stood before its gates. Drawn to its faded grandeur and the promise of a new beginning, they remained oblivious to the whispers that swirled around the manor's eaves, whispers of things unseen and shadows that danced at the edge of perception. The cycle had begun anew. Blackwood Manor stood as a silent sentinel, its shadow falling long and dark across the town of Evergreen Hollow. It was a place frozen in time, trapped within a perpetual loop of tragedy and despair. The spirits of those who had perished within its walls remained, their souls bound to the house, their whispers echoing through the empty corridors. Each new inhabitant brought with them the hope of a fresh start, of escaping the shadows of the past. But the house had a way of ensnaring its occupants, of drawing them into its web of secrets and lies. It fed on their fear, their despair, growing stronger with each passing generation.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas.
Only time would tell.